What is this guy doing in a World War I shooter? Seems like he's a little out of time if you ask me. In case you guys somehow didn't see the Battlefield 1 trailer, even though a good 16 million people have already, firstly, you should go do so, and secondly, there was a moment in the trailer that kind of made people scratch their heads and wonder. It's this clip right here, where a guy who appears to be wearing a knight's armor comes out with a minigun of sorts. Now the question arises as to what exactly he's doing there and why. Knights vs. Dragons game mode confirmed? Not quite. Now, I don't claim to be a World War I expert by any means, but when I saw this, I'd recalled reading at some point that during the World Wars, there was no effective body armor, like what we have today that could stop a bullet. The only thing they had that could even remotely slow a bullet was metal, which is why the military helmets of that era were all metal of some kind. Yeah, but what does metal helmets have anything to do with a knight with a minigun waltzing on in like he's ready to serve the king? I decided it would be a good idea to do some research as to the armor of the Great War or World War I and learn that this armor doesn't really seem to be a knight's armor, even though at first glance it does appear to be so. The first image I'm going to pull up to explain what I'm talking about are images of the Red Army, a division in the Soviet Union's army that wore some very retro have-you knight-styled armor plates. As you can see, this is just a torso armor plate and isn't all over the body like the one shown in the trailer. But the chest piece does still appear to be the one he is wearing, with the same cushioning around the neck opening. And this is just one example of these retro armament worn during World War I as protection. I stumbled upon a lot of other helmets that gunners on tanks or trucks would wear to protect their heads that look very similar to the one shown in the trailer, and I even managed to stumble across a full body armor soldier that doesn't really look like a knight per se, but it does show that during World War I there were heavily armored, almost juggernaut-like soldiers. Just because I wasn't able to find a good exact reference picture to the armor DICE has equipped this soldier with doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. And seeing as DICE has admitted to taking some liberties as far as realism goes to make an interesting game, it does seem likely they could have combined the armors I've shown you to make a full armor set character. Now that we know where this knight seems to come from, the question is still there as to what his role will be in the game. A simple answer could be that it is just a scene from the campaign and that this isn't even in the multiplayer, but let's just say it is for speculative purposes. If this were in the game, the only logical usage of it would be to almost be a battle pickup, much like the USAS frags in Battlefield 4 and the heroes in Battlefront combined to make a sweet little Battlefield 1 baby. So if you were able to find this pickup, that would likely randomly spawn as the heroes do in Battlefront, you would then become this soldier with presumably more health, a minigun of sorts, and likely, for balancing purposes, an inability to recover health once again, much like the heroes in Battlefront. Another seeming battle pickup that we see in this trailer is this Flamethrower soldier who obviously has a flamethrower. I'd assume he'd be very similar in that regard to the knight, but possibly with less health and ability to regain health, but limited range with his flamethrower. The idea of seeing battle pickups of this kind on Battlefield 1 does seem really epic and is a unique change in the formula of Battlefield. I'm interested to see how it actually transpires, and I like the idea that DICE is taking some ideas from what they did in Battlefield 4 and Battlefront and combining them to make a new feature in their next title. That's all for this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you guys did, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'd love to hear all your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. As always, this has been Lupus, and remember, stay gold.